You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, delivering an experience.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Mike Parker, coming to you right now from the mouth of the Chester River here on the Chesapeake Bay in the shadow of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, aboard a boat operated by the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. And the mission of the crew here today is simple: restore the Chesapeake's oyster population. And now they're not doing it single-handedly, but what they are doing is establishing a brand new 2-acre artificial reef site. And after today, it'll be populated with 2 million tiny oysters.
Everybody excited?
Yeah! The mission of the Chesapeake Bay Foundation is simple: protect the body of water for which it's named, and often going to great lengths to do it.
We found that nothing gets people excited like oysters, and it seems really strange. They're ugly little hard-shelled creatures, but for some reason, people are really fascinated and invested in the future of these oysters.
Millions of oysters, probably approximately 3 million, roughly, to give it a good estimate.
Before we show you exactly what these small mountains of muddied oyster shells are doing on this boat as we depart from Love's Point in Queen Anne's County, we've got to go back a few months.
Baltimore is about 12 miles to the west of us,
where this story began on Maryland's western shore. This online video shows the once mighty Simpkins Dam on the Patapsco River in Baltimore County being demolished. The concrete structure, built decades ago with good intentions, was now seen clearly as an engineering eyesore and an environmental roadblock to a number of important fish species no longer able to access northern parts of the river. What you're seeing here is video given to Outdoors Delmarva by the Chesapeake Bay Foundation of that demolished dam, now in chunks, being sunk to the bottom of the bay.
This piece of concrete right here came from either the road or Simpkins Dam, and it's a great example of what is down there at the bottom. The average size, it could be anywhere between 3 inches and 12 inches of material that's in the bottom. About 290 cubic yards went down yesterday, and a total of 2,800 cubic yards are in a 2-acre location.
In the same spot we're floating over today, with all of these special oyster shells.
These are the baby oysters that are going to create the new reef that we're building. And in approximately 2 to 3 years, this shell will almost be unrecognizable, and you'll have these large new oysters growing off of the parent shell.
This is pretty much like recycling at its best, huh?
Yes.
The thing about oysters is, when they're babies, known as spat, they need something to latch onto, preferably old oyster shells on the bottom of the bay. But with a depleted population, they're not so easy to find. So these shells, by the thousands, have been reclaimed from places like restaurants, then kept in tanks where the spat is attached. And after a few weeks, they're ready to be placed in the bay.
We're not putting too much on at one time, because if you do, then everything just kind of builds up, and then we got to sit there and really kick at it and dig at it to try and get the shells to go back down the ramp again.
Reef sites like this 2-acre tract at the mouth of the Chester River are specially selected, and what looks like a harsh industrial operation as the shells and spat are fanned out by the spreader is really designed to maximize reef growth on a confined footprint. As they sink to the bottom, they'll land on that cozy bed of concrete, a surface to which they can also attach as they grow into oyster adults.
So 2-3 years, you're going to see 4 or 5-inch oysters on the bottom. Each of those adult oysters filtering 50 gallons of water a day, attracting all kinds of fish life. It's going to be a great project, and we're almost done.
For the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, a hard day's work out here is all worth it, as the final oysters are deposited into the bay. Overall, it's been a clean operation and a fresh start for millions of tiny oyster spat, whose own simple mission is simply to survive.
So I guess to sum it up, get outdoors, Delmarva.
Still to come on Outdoors Delmarva, we've got some viewer venture cam video from a recent youth waterfowl hunt. And next, you won't want to miss this week's SCORCHY'S Corner Classic.
SCORCHY'S Corner Classics are sponsored by Hook 'em and Cook 'em Outfitters. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, delivering an experience.